Hello, everybody. It's Tom Chenault, and guess what happened? The radio show screwed the pooch. So that wasn't good. So poor Susan Wheeler, who's really, really a cool lady. She wrote the Lemonade Diet. We did the sound check, and it was echoing like crazy. And she was about to have a nervous breakdown. Adrian was about to have a nervous breakdown. So we're bringing her back the 20th of July. But we had a little time to kill, about 11 minutes here. So we thought we'd go live and light your hair on fire and let you just talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to ask us questions, anything like that, I am telling you. So the first thing she said when she called was, well, my company's got an app, and my app at my company is great. And I go, really? What happens when you leave your company? How's that app working for you then with all your notes and all your people in your company? Because you guys are not your company. You are not Salesforce. You are not Twitter. You're not Facebook. You are you, and your database is the most important thing you could possibly have. And my rant has actually started before the introduction. This is Adrian. How are you, Adrian?
I am so good.
Oh, look at how much does Adrian weigh.
All right, good. We gotta do this.
No.
So, all right. So, flash up the banner first, Susan, just for a second.
And this is going to be so live and so interactive. It's frightening. Hello, Louise. Adrian, one of the best network marketers in Vancouver, in Canada. Unbelievable. In the world.
Unbelievable.
Anything. Yeah. So I call Sean Murphy today to do some contact mapping. He goes through this diatribe for like 22 cars, all this stuff, because I'm calling somebody else. The next thing I know, he writes me a text. I don't know if any of that was true. I go, good God, that's the worst thing I could do. Well, I'm going to call her on oh man, Sean, you are a terrible spy.
All right. So we have one question there, Jason, and I'm feeling very full disclosure. So we'll go there. So flash some questions up there. And we'll answer them. So this is an Ask Me Anything. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's true. If you have no hair, can you still light somebody's hair on fire? That's an important question.
Shervin, you are an unbelievable kid, and I understand how you pivoted in your life a couple of weeks ago, didn't miss a beat, stepped on the gas pedal, said, you're not going to let some upset take me down. And you literally moved so fast, you went bald. And I am very, very proud of you. And we were going to send you today, as a result of that, a free contact mapping hat. So guess what? It's coming to us. All you got to do is remind me that I promised it. And then I'll get somebody to fulfill the promise I made. And then I will take credit for it.
That sounds like a great plan. So I gotta give Shay a shout out because this is pretty sweet. Shay sent me a text message yesterday, and he said, I want to wish you a happy belated Father's Day. I know you're not my father, and I don't think of you in that sense. Your dad is much older, so he kind of has that covered. He didn't say it quite that way. But he sent me the nicest note, and he gave me a big shout out. So I love you, Shay. You are somebody that rolls with the punches, and I love that about you, and I'm proud of you, man. So that's good. All right, put Sean's question up there.
All we want to be. Oh, yeah. How much does Adrian weigh? How much do you weigh?
So before this vacation, I weighed 165 pounds. I have not dared weigh myself, but if my ice cream intake has anything to do with it, I think I weigh about 193 after being off work for 8 days and eating ice cream about 8 times a day. So
are you looking a little heavier then?
Well, I don't know. I feel heavy.
Well, you look buff. You look buff. Everybody looks close. They look thin
ice cream
next to me. So here's the deal. Jordan Adler if you don't think one person's got influence, you are out of your mind. All you need to do is light yourself up on fire, and people will come from everywhere to watch you burn or send postcards. And I am telling you, we are getting postcards. Sean Murphy, I think you have the other pair of socks like this, if I'm not wrong. This is one pair of Ray Higdon socks and one pair of Eric Worre socks. And I think I gave the other pair of these to you, if I remember right, along with Jeff Roberti sending you that beautiful bottle of cologne. But anyway, he's on this new kick, and he's got everybody sending postcards, and now postcards are literally running out of my ears at my house. And I love them, because what does a postcard tell me? That I'm remembered. Who could pull this rabbit out of the hat? Nobody. But somebody did. Somebody in send out cards in that organization. Now it's called Greener Pastures or Greener something.
Greener Still.
Greener Still.
Greener Pastures is where you're headed in about a week and a half.
That is so sad. So that is so terrible. And then this one is this is a collector's item too. I pulled these both out of the stack of postcards I've gotten. This one came from a guy named Jim Carpenter. And basically this is the night Denise got injured. She's going into surgery here in a couple of weeks. She totally, before that picture, completely blew out her knee playing pickleball. So right there, she's injured yet smiling. So somebody sent that card. So we're going to go home and frame that baby. But all of you have got to understand that remembering people and loving them and not treating them as prospects, but as human beings is what they want. That's what you want, for God's sake. Stop being an autotron and actually find a picture that is close to my heart. Send it to me with a nice note, and I'll guarantee you I'm going to love you forever. And so whether it's a card, whether it's a text, whether it's anything, right?
That's exactly right. And,
unbelievable.
It's just find creative ways to stay in touch. That's what Harvey McKay says, and that's what it's all about. Just make it easy. You don't have to overthink it. Like it wasn't like he came to your house and took this picture, right? He grabbed it off your Facebook wall and said, well, this clearly is a meaningful picture to Tom Chenault, and so that's what I'm going to do.
Amen to that. So Sean is asking us about contact mapping. What's our vision there? And that was not a setup question. But what we're doing is not changing network marketing. We're changing the world. It is not a network marketing product. That lady that I just was going to interview, she goes, well, my company's got this, my company's got that. I go, the minute you're out of that company, you are out of business with your contacts. Ask Donald Trump with his 80 million Twitter users. It's the same conversation. You own your database. It's your most valuable yet abused asset. I promise you. And we're going to teach you how to use the application, not the app, because contact mapping is so much bigger than the app itself. That's why it's free. It's the application that's everything. How you treat other people. We need to reinvent the way we treat other people in network marketing. We need to reinvent the way we treat other people in the United States of America. We need to reinvent the way we treat other people in the world. And it starts with us. It goes outward. Be the change that you want to see in the world, right?
Totally agree. And, I just got back from vacation. I mentioned my 8 times 8 servings of ice cream over 8 days. And, but we were out there, we're talking to people, we're, taking the kids to do stuff, and we're just meeting people who are out on vacation too, talking to them about where they're from, talking to them about what they're up to, what's going on in their lives. And in what normally has happened to me in the past before contact mapping, I would have this great conversation with this person. I would maybe friend them on Facebook or something, and I would never see them or probably talk to them again, because that's just, I didn't know where to take them. I didn't have anything to do with that connection to be able to have it be anything more than a nice conversation. And instead, I took a picture with this guy. I learned his whole story about these guys. Actually, it's super cool. I figured out I'm going to start a hedge fund because this guy makes stuff that goes into Tesla cars, and he knows everything before he knows what Tesla's doing before. He must have an NDA 5 miles long. But this guy makes components for the automotive industry. Their number one client is Tesla, and he is like the inside track. They send him stuff and he goes, that's not possible to make, but here's what you can do instead. And they influence the design of Tesla cars.
Who is this guy?
Well, I can't tell you.
Where does he live?
That's gonna ruin my hedge fund, but he lives outside of Chicago, Illinois.
How do you know him? I
met him in Steamboat Springs.
This is a scam. Okay, so here's the deal. I want you guys, I'm looking at another question. How do I make $1 million a year? How do I be successful? Here's what I want to say to you. Number one, I never said I made $1 million a year. So that one is not an income claim, anything like that. I am going to tell you that on my gravestone, it's going to say, here lies the most duplicatable goofball on the planet, because he didn't know anything in his brain. He knew everything in his heart, and he remembered everything about people. And all he did was connect people with connect people, and it worked out. And if every one of you can do that, I posted something today. I'm sober, without alcohol, 11,900 and something days today. I've been doing 10,000 steps a day for the last 30 days in a row. What does that look like? Consistency. I looked at my contact mapping app a couple of days ago. This year, I've actually contact mapped 607 people, which I believe is abysmally small, but that's what the number on the bottom of my app said. But what you're seeing is a trend. It's a trend called consistency over a long time. Doing great things over a long period of time that serve other people ends up serving you. So what have I been able to do? I've been able to help a heck of a lot of people stay sober. I've been able to help a heck of a lot of people make a lot of extra money in network marketing. I've been able to help a heck of a lot of people get a lot more healthy through nutrition. I'm proud of all those things, but it was consistency. It wasn't any whiz-bang trick. I fired my brain and I hired my heart, just exactly like every one of you can do. My wife is on here right now. I am so happy to see that. I love her. She is a rock star. She's 10 times the connector that Adrian and I will ever be. She walks in a restaurant. By the time I get there and order my 14 burritos and 35 scoops of Haagen-Dazs ice cream, she's already completely contact mapped the waiter, the owner, everybody, because she is an absolute magnet. And she's going to do an even better job of that now because she's going to be in a wheelchair. Woohoo! All right. Take care.
Great bait.
Great bait. I'm going to use her for sympathy.
That's so true, though. I mean, you guys came by our house last night. You just had dinner.
Yeah.
You ended up striking up a conversation that talked about longboarding, about the neighborhood that we live in. You figured out that their kid was in one of our daughter's classes at school.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew everything.
Oh, yeah. And the guy has his arm in a cast, and Denise is sitting there looking at him, and she knows that she doesn't want me to ride that longboard of mine because I'm going to break my neck, and then she's going to be in a wheelchair, and I'm going to be on a stretcher, and she's all freaked out about that. And so the guy's got this arm in the cast, and guess how he got it? Broke his arm, longboarding. But you know what? I'm 70 years old. 70 years old, to be able to longboard, to be that flexible, to have that much balance at 70. Tell me about your grandfather.
You're just hoping you break your arm because that means you didn't break your hip.
That's exactly right. So you guys, you got to love life. Find something that guy's saying, how did I make that much money doing this, this, and this? Here's what I'm passionate about. My passion is alcohol and drug rehabilitation. My job is network marketing, and my legacy is contact mapping. My eyes pop open 2:00 in the morning, just like your grandfather, I'm sure, just like your parents, I'm sure, just like you, I'm sure, just going, hello, world. And I want to seize it just exactly like Sean Murphy. I want to be him when I grow up. He does a Zoom, a big thing so early in the morning, it's beyond comprehension. Chad Williams, all these people, Leslie Hebert, Rhonda Bird Parker, that Daniela, that's her name, I think.
That's perfect.
I can't pronounce it. But anyway, I love her. She's a great woman. But they're all on there. And then I hear from them. That was unbelievable this morning. Did you hear what Sean said? And all I try to do is glom on to people that are more excited about life than me and get caught in their slipstream. And I would suggest to you that you do the same thing. Follow people doing something, not the ones talking about it.
All right, we need some more questions. Sean, I want to know what episode number you are on of your super, super early call, because you...
Like 800.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
That's unbelievable, man. That's
He's lying.
He's lying. He must be. Yeah, there's no way to verify that fact or not.
He's lying. It's like that other person's kids today, man. He goes through a whole diatribe, and then so I'm just about to call the person on the phone and ask questions into her listening about her family, and I happen to glance down at my phone, and Sean goes, oh, never mind, I'm not sure. I'm going, this guy's a terrible contact mapper. We have got 854 shows at Pucko.
There you go. That's awesome, Sean. Throw Sean's question up there. So here's one that I have loved and that we're doing right now. So it's very meta that we would even talk about this. But I was so afraid of the idea of going live on any platform and talking into a camera and just, being unscripted or whatever and doing anything like that. You were a very early adopter of Facebook Live, and I actually thought that you were a little self-absorbed, I have to say. I did. I was like, what? Why the hell would anybody care what my dad has to say? Why are you doing this? And I was totally against it. And then I had a whole story of why would anybody want to know what I had to say, and I'm going to sound like an idiot, and what are people going to think about me, and all this stuff. And there is so much value in coming on and making it up as you go and not being afraid to say the wrong thing or to trip over your words or whatever, because it is like allowing people to get to know. So many of you feel like you know us. That we have had never a single conversation in person or a very limited number of actual interactions, but you feel like you know me because of doing this. And people want to know you. People want to know you. And so getting out of your head and not, just putting yourself out there, I think so many people are afraid to do that. And it's so powerful. And it becomes a lot of fun once you just get a couple reps under your belt.
So if Denise hasn't taken her pain med yet and she can still type, she will be sure to tell you whether this is true or not. But we live in Longmont, Colorado. And believe it or not, I was like this big time financial radio talk show host in my life. And so I was on the radio every day over the whole state of Colorado, 89% of it, talking about the stock market like it was a football game for 3 hours. And I was just this lunatic because I knew everybody was just criminals trying to figure out a way to nail the public. So I just got on there and had a blast and got in all kinds of trouble. But literally every day, either the mailman or it was almost always the mailman, these people knew our life to the nines. I mean, they'd go, well, you're leaving at 11 o'clock today, aren't you? I mean, they listened to the radio so much, the mailman. And Denise and I were like literally freaked out because our life was completely in front of everybody. And it's true so far, she said. But the fact of the matter is, that's exactly what it is. And that's what's so great about Facebook Live. People want to know about your life. I want to know about your life. And it's that simple. And once you get past the looking good, this morning I did a Facebook Live and it had a logo on it. And I knew I was going to piss some people off with that logo. So I just put the shirt on inside out and somebody noticed it and they were all freaked out because a hot mess like me did that. But the point is they remember it and it comes up later in the day. So I get down to Cave Girl Coffee and there somebody brought it up. Hey, I'm glad you got your shirt on right side out now. But I love the fact that people are paying attention to what we're doing. It's a beautiful thing for me.
It is. It's really fun. And then what I love about it from like the perspective of building a business, for the perspective of contact mapping, is you kind of short circuit that coffee shop interview because they already feel like they know you, which then enables you and gives you permission to be able to just go deep and to ask real questions and to get to the heart of who somebody is a lot faster because they already feel like they know you and they already feel some level of trust and affinity towards you because of that experience. And so it enhances your ability to interview people because they already feel like they've been able to kind of figure you out or get a feel for who you are before the conversation even happened.
So this adorable man 2 years ago apparently was down in Florida and he watched me on Facebook and we were headed to Florida. So he sent me a note and he said, are you coming to Florida? I go, yeah, I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you. And that hung with this guy for 2 years. So he got back to Longmont. His name's Tom. He's an adorable man. And he's kind of like this vagabond, really hip guy that makes a ton of money waiting tables. And then he made a deal with the owner of the restaurant where he takes a week off a month to just go do his life because he doesn't want to be held down by anything. Anyway, all of a sudden he was going, why did Tom Chenault even want to have a cup of coffee with me a couple of years ago? I'm going to flip it back on him. So he sent me a text message a few days ago and said, coffee. And I said immediately, yes. And he was freaked out. He goes, why would Tom Chenault say yes? People don't know that Tom Chenault never says no. And the reason I never say no is because I know that what God's got in store for my day is 1,000 times bigger and better than the agenda I've got for my day. So whenever somebody asks me for anything, I literally say yes, because I want to learn something. I want to see something. I want to experience something. And everything that has happened to me in my life that's wonderful is not in that little piece of the pie called what Tom Chenault knows, or that little piece of the pie called what Tom Chenault knows he doesn't know. It's in that great big expanse called everything Tom knows, but God doesn't, whatever, God kind of knows all that stuff. And that's why, Adrian's on this planet, a little night in a teepee in Alaska. It's unbelievable. That's a joke. So anyway.
Sorry, shook that off. Okay. Goodness gracious. All right, put David's question up there. And this is clearly at you because I'm a spring.
Sobriety. It is an unnatural act. Alcoholics drink. Staying sober is an unnatural act for an alcoholic or an addict. So for me, it's that one because it wasn't supposed to happen. And the 9 guys that were sitting at the table, the day that God put his hand on my shoulder for no reason, David, those guys are still drunk and dead. And I made it through. And I have no idea why it happened. It took everything I got. It was a whole lot harder than being successful in all the things I've done. But of that, I'm most proud of that. Obviously I got my wife on here. That's a big accomplishment. I'm very, very proud of having a great relationship with her. But yeah, that's number one.
The questions are on the screen, Denise. Jeez.
What's she wanting to know?
She said you have to repeat the questions.
I told you she was taking the pain pills.
Just kidding, Denise. We love you. We should repeat them. All right. Actually, Denise will have a much better answer to the next question than Tom probably will.
What's that?
Throw Sean's question up there. So Sean said, what would you do differently with the construction of your home? What might you do more of or less of?
I would have soundproofed Denise's office. That's a joke. I'm 70 years old next week. And as a result of that, my office is on the 3rd floor of the house. And I'm probably going to need a rope lift by the time I keep, because it's 2 flights. And I can see that getting rougher in 15, 20 years. So we might have to adjust that. But for the most part, the place is magic. Denise designed it. It's our dream home. I will tell you, if we took a survey, 95% of you would say, I don't like that house. But that's okay with us because this 5% right here and my wife, we love it more than air in our lungs. It's our dream house, not yours. That's what's so cool about that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say a dumbwaiter to bring the sandwiches up
oh,
to
yeah.
the window in the office, but
we actually have a window now for her to throw food through. So all the time things are coming through like bags of popcorn and stuff. That's kind of cool. So not too good on the soup or the ice cream. Yeah.
This is pretty fun.
It is. It's just unplugged, and how about the question you should ask is what's it like working with your dad every day?
Oh, geez. Do I have to answer that?
Yeah. Straight as an arrow.
What I came back to was a ton of excitement, but uncertain, a ton of uncertainty, right? I moved away from Colorado in 2003 to go to college, and I had not lived here since then. And you and I stayed very close during all those years, but I hadn't lived in the same town as you in, 15 years when I moved back, and we embarked on this thing together. And, it is your brainchild, but it was my sort of push to go and start this company. And that could have been a recipe for 2 very different sets of opinions about what was going to happen, and a dad who had every right to call a bunch of shots because he's, way more experienced. He's been there, he's done that. And it was his, contact mapping was his idea in the first place. And instead you have yielded you yielded so much to me to let me build this and to create it. And that has been amazing. And what has been even cooler is that as we have gone along, we've had to figure out actually how to say, hey, I want you to be deeper in this and figure out how to dance. And I think that's been the best part, actually.
Yeah. And Adrian, the good news is he's taken on the responsibility of being a great boss. And it's his company. I'm kind of the face. And a lot of things that he wants to do involve work and integrity and consistency, all of which I am massively allergic. So, yeah, and learning all this stuff. I mean, these guys have help. They've got Slack. They've got StreamYard. They've got 15 words you've never heard of. So that's kind of tough. And trying to keep in touch and be on top of everything is difficult for me because I'm such a people person. So yeah, but I love working with them and it's fun. I just saw Norm Lavin is 20 years sober today.
Wow.
And you outing yourself, Norm, is about as cool as it gets. And people say all the time, what's it take? And it takes all you got. Being sober takes all you got because stuff happens all the time that makes you think that the next alternative is probably alcohol or drugs. And thank God I haven't picked up, and thank God you haven't picked up. And I've got your phone number. I'm going to give you a call in a few minutes because I want to chat about that. I did not know that, and I'm really, really excited about it. So that's cool.
That is amazing, Norm. What a gift to you, and I'm sure to so many other people. That's for me, that's one of the most, the biggest gifts of my life is I can't imagine. I mean, you wouldn't be here, but I can't imagine what life would have been like if you not gotten sober.
So pushing the pig through the python snake is something, my wife does not like it when I say that, but pretty much that's my life. Whatever I've done, I've been pretty doggone good at. And whether it was becoming a restaurant guy and rising to the top of that job, or becoming a airplane salesman and doing the same thing, or becoming a stockbroker and doing the same thing. And, always, as with alcohol, my intentions were always good. My outcomes were always bad. And in those careers, I did rise to the top and I made a lot of money, but I realized that I climbed to the top of the ladder and I looked out over the landscape and realized I was at the top, but the ladder was leaned against the wrong wall. It was supposed to be over there. And I had to go all the way down that ladder and start over in network marketing. And I will tell you that, I was getting sober at exactly the same time. And I will tell you this, it has been the most unbelievable experience of my life for a million reasons. But probably the most important reason is because I can't do it alone. I don't make anything unless I help other people be successful. So not only do I have the responsibility of me pushing the pig through the python snake, not with my sales skills, but with my enrollment and people skills, where I'm lifting people up that lift me up. That's a whole different concept to a cutthroat salesman from the stock business and things like that. And that's been the biggest gift, is to see the people that I've been able to bring with me on this journey, that it warms my heart. Every one of you are going to hit some point in your life where you have more money than you have month. I pray. And when that happens, you're standing there going, well, is this all there is? Do I go buy another car or a plane or a train or an automobile? No. You start looking at people's lives you can impact with money, with time, with health. And that's been the most gratifying, best byproduct of this business that I never saw coming. I had no idea I was going to get such joy out of helping people until it happened. So thanks for that question.
Very, very cool. All right, we got one from Sean.
Yeah, and there's a great video out there of my morning routine, because and Rob Sperry did it, because I use this contact mapping app of Adrian's, which is unbelievable to keep me on task. And so what happens is I get up real early in the morning, about 6 a.m., walk out the door when I was living at his house, walk to my AA meeting, stop at the coffee shop, have a little coffee with some misfits, say hi. He'd be doing a Bible study with Huck Walk and all his friends in the corner. Say hi to those guys, keep walking, go to my AA meeting, and do some spiritual thinking and listening on that walk. And it was a couple miles. I'd get to the AA meeting. I was there for an hour. I checked in with my sobriety, tried to help some other people, made sure I understood I'm not half as hip, slick, and cool as my paycheck was trying to tell me I am. Then I'd walk out of there and go to a place called Red Frog Coffee, which was 2-3 miles down the road. So that walk was really, really cool, because I would call all my leaders in the network marketing space before the competition called them. So I did that, and I just checked in. I told them I loved them. Most of them never pick up the phone because they know I'm a parrot and I'm going to say the same thing. So they just listen to the message, or played like they listened to the message and hit 7. But whatever it was, they knew I loved them and cared about them. And then I called the people on the list that I needed to call in the form of, I don't like the word prospects, but I called them up. And Rob Sperry was one of the guys. He goes, it's amazing that every month or so you call me on the phone and we talk for 20 minutes on the same exact walk. And I said, that's my same exact routine. So then I get down to this other coffee shop called Red Frog Coffee, drink coffee with my friends, family, people from AA. And then from there, I hop on the phone and I clean up the rest of the people on the app that need to be cleaned up as far as calls and rememberings. And then my day is completely open to live my life how I want. I've done all the heavy lifting in the morning. I'm a model of consistency. And what I love most about that's duplicatable. So I hope that wasn't too long an answer. It felt a little boring to me.
No, it's good.
All right, good.
All right. I do think we should get these people out of here, though.
All right, you guys. Anybody still awake? Thank you very much. I love you very, very, very much. Norm Lavin, because of your 20 years, we're going to send you a contact mapping t-shirt. You're going to love that, baby. Love like crazy, then love more. Fire your brain, hire your heart. We love all of you guys. Have an unbelievable day. I promised, who was bald? Somebody doesn't have any hair. We promised Shay had to. Yeah, Shay gets a hat too. All right, you guys, love you. Thank you for letting us check the equipment here. So this is awesome.
Love you guys. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
See you.